On the scene, on the story, with breaking news. News on 6 starts now.
First at 6, we are following breaking news this Christmas night. We now know one person is dead and an officer is on paid leave, as Tulsa police are hard at work investigating the 81st homicide of the year. News on 6's Amy Kaufman is live on the scene near 12th and Wheeling. Amy?
Well, Ashley, Tulsa police are investigating an officer-involved shooting right now. They say a neighbor called them to this area around 3:45 and said a man was running down the street naked and carrying a gun. This is the scene right now near 12th and Wheeling. When the officer who was first dispatched arrived at the scene, Tulsa police says he gave the man commands to stop and put the gun down, but they say instead he pointed it at the officer. The officer then fired shots, taking down the suspect. Officers say that it's difficult to inform family members of a death, especially on Christmas.
Giving death notice to anyone, regardless of what day of the year it is going to be extremely difficult.
Now, police tell us that the officer is going to be on paid leave, and right now they are still investigating the shooting, so we'll have more on this story tonight at 9 and 10. Live on the scene, on the story in Tulsa, Amy Kaufman, News on 6.
It has been a busy Christmas day for law enforcement here in Green Country. Right now, deputies are searching for the person they say ran from the scene of a crash following a chase. News on 6's Tristan Land is live now with what we now know. Tristan.
You can still see the tire tracks here where deputies say the woman crashed her Ford Escape through this wire fence. Neighbors here say they couldn't believe what they saw.
I just heard the crash, came out, police was running.
Kobe Simmons says he didn't expect to see authorities outside of his house on Christmas Day.
I was inside, I just heard the crash. I came out, seen the police and the car smoking.
Around 10:30 this morning,
we got a call of a larceny suspect or someone that stole some items from the dollar store at 5600 North Peoria.
Deputies say when the woman spotted them, she sped off, leading officers on a chase.
It was very short. From 46th and Peoria to 4800 North Wheeling is just a matter of blocks.
The woman crashed her vehicle through a wire fence, got out of the car, and ran off.
We've just kind of been checking sheds and structures and backyards in the area.
Deputies are still searching for the suspect. If you know anything about this crime, you're asked to call the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office. Live on the scene on the story in Tulsa, Tristan Land, News on 6.
Police say a park curfew violation led to an overnight chase starting at Turkey Mountain. An officer was coming over to warn the suspects, James Anderson and Elizabeth Ewing, about being in the park too late. But police say they took off, leading officers on a chase. Officers say they crashed through a barbed wire fence down the street at Southern Hills Riding Academy, then hid from officers. Police eventually found and arrested them. They also say they found meth inside of the vehicle. Another chase earlier this morning also led to an arrest. News on 6's Megan Farley has the latest as police search for a second person involved.
Police say the man driving the truck is from Skiatook, but tonight he is in the Tulsa jail facing a number of charges.
Just after 6 a.m. on Christmas morning, police tried to stop a Chevy truck for a traffic violation here in the area of North Tulsa. That truck came up as stolen.
Well, that driver didn't want to stop for police, so he led officers on a chase a few blocks down Independence, where he stopped and then jumped from the truck.
Tulsa police say Kim Wade Dyer Jr. from Skiatook was the one behind the wheel.
Police eventually found Dyer in the backyard of a home in this area along North Richmond, but his passenger was still missing.
Inside that truck, police found a stolen 9mm handgun. Officers also found a motorcycle in the bed of the truck that appears to be stolen as well. The pickup has been returned to its owner. Dyer now faces charges of auto theft, possession of a stolen firearm, and a number of traffic warrants. On the scene, on the story in Tulsa, Megan Farley, News on 6.
A Tulsa family is not spending Christmas at home after their house went up in flames today. Firefighters were called out to 12th Street this morning. The homeowner and fire crews say an electrical fire started in the attic. 3 people inside and their 4 dogs made it out okay. The Red Cross is helping them find shelter for the night. A family is trying to salvage what they can after a fire broke out in the chimney of their home near 36th Street North in Peoria. Firefighters say the flames spread to the attic. Everyone also made it out of this one okay, but investigators are still working to figure out what sparked the flames.
It was a cold Christmas today compared to a year ago. Take a look at these statistics. I don't know if you remember last year, but it was 71 degrees. Today you had to put a log on the fire because it was cold. Temperatures in the afternoon topping out 37. That's 11 degrees below normal. Last year it was the third warmest all time. We've had a few snowflakes up to northeastern Oklahoma areas and especially northeast of Tulsa. It's just nothing that's really getting to the ground. The air is so dry that a lot of that was evaporating, but our temperatures are cold and they're going to get a lot colder tonight. We're still hanging into the mid 30s across the area, and for tonight look for temperatures falling in the 20s by 9 o'clock for your hour by hour. If you're headed off to a family Christmas party yet tonight. As the sun is set, we have wind chill woes just ahead and a wintry weather chance, and a couple of those coming up. Also below freezing weather for days. Are you prepared for this cold weather? We're going to talk about how long we expect that coming up in the weather shortly.
Tulsa police arrest a suspected drunk driver after a hit and run early this morning. Officers say around 1 o'clock, a car rear-ended a pickup truck near 41st and Garnett, then drove off heading north in the southbound lanes. Police say they did catch up with the driver near 31st and Garnett. Officers arrested the man for DUI and leaving the scene of an accident. An Oklahoma lawmaker says she will continue her fight to reform state DUI laws. Last week, Senate Bill 643 was declared unconstitutional by the state Supreme Court. The bill was meant to reduce resources on one-time offenders and use those resources instead on multiple-time offenders. Senator Kim David says the new bill would have reduced the administrative process by about 6 months. The Supreme Court ruled the new law violated the single subject rule. Some of Oklahoma's own are getting ready for an emotional trip to the Rose Bowl parade. 8-year-old Aiden Hooper was killed in an accident at the 2013 Liberty Fest parade in Edmond. His tissue and organs have now saved 2 other children. He'll be honored at next week's Rose Bowl parade in California. His parents say this is the first parade they've been to since the accident.
We're coming back where it all began, but this time in a positive way.
Aiden's parents say they hope his story will inspire others to be organ and tissue donors. Happening right now, the Oklahoma State University Marching Band is headed to Florida. About 300 students are traveling to Orlando in 7 buses as the Cowboys get ready to take on Virginia Tech in the Camping World Bowl. Buses left Stillwater this morning and will get to Florida tomorrow. The band pretty busy, a full slate of rehearsals and pep rallies ahead of Thursday's game. They'll get to march in a parade as well at Disney World on Friday before they head back here to Oklahoma. Volunteers across Oklahoma are hard at work helping those in need this Christmas. You're taking a look at the Red Andrews Christmas dinner this morning. That was at the Convention Center, Cox Convention Center in Oklahoma City. The main focus was the food, but also some gifts. Every child got to pick out 2 toys and get a picture with Santa. Well, one family has a reason to celebrate this Christmas thanks to Tulsa police. This morning, officers from the Gilcrease Division delivered presents to a family of kids who lost a loved one this year, along with the woman who stepped up to care for them. TPD did post this picture to its Facebook page. Officers raised money to buy the toys and clothing for those kids. Well, a Green Country 10-year-old selfless Christmas wish is being viewed across the world tonight. Coming up next, what she asked Santa for that is melting hearts everywhere.
It broke me down like a child. I mean, I'm in the middle of my favorite store. I'm in the middle of Bass Pro. Just like baseball, there's no crying in Bass Pro either, except for that night.
A Christmas wish to Santa becomes a ray of hope to a little girl battling cancer. News on 6's Sawyer Bussey is on the viral story with more. Sawyer.
Well, when Santa asked 10-year-old Taylor Dane what she wanted for Christmas, she didn't say toys or clothes. Her wish was for her cousin Ashley to be healthy for the first time in almost a year.
Father God, I come to you right now.
Steve Dane waited in line for almost an hour for this moment, the one where his 2 kids get to sit on Santa's lap and ask for one Christmas wish.
My son gets up first and says, you know, he wants, you know, the typical thing. He wants a big John Deere tractor with a trailer and with an Optimus Prime in the back of it. And go figure.
The family goes to Bass Pro every year to see Santa, but this year is one they will never forget.
I'm kind of expecting the same from my daughter. And Taylor gets up there and pretty much just stops time.
When Santa asked 10-year-old Taylor Dane what she wanted for Christmas, she had a very specific wish, that didn't require gifts with fancy bows.
All I want for Christmas is my cousin to get cured from cancer.
Taylor's cousin Ashley has been battling leukemia for almost a year now, and it's been hard on Taylor and her family.
I didn't want anything for Christmas, and I realized that it would be better if I wished for someone else to get something than me.
Without batting an eye, Santa Claus seemed to know exactly what to do. He took a few seconds to say a prayer with Taylor, and Dad caught the whole thing on camera.
He told me that he didn't have the power to do that, but he knew someone who could.
You hear your daughter break down in front of the one human being that she feels like can change anything, and she chooses, instead of a new bike or whatever, she chooses to wish her cousin into health. What do you say to that? I'm doing the same thing I did there. You can't teach that. I mean, that's God-given.
Now, that video has been viewed more than 6 million times now. I'm here with Taylor and her family now. We're all wearing these orange bracelets in support of Ashley. Ashley, if you're watching, we're thinking of you. Sawyer Bussey, News on 6.
Yes, we are, and what a selfless wish. All right, it is a chilly Christmas across green country, and the temperature is still dropping. Travis letting us know which days this week we could see the coldest air of the season on our Osage Casino Skycam network. We want to update you on breaking news we have been following tonight. Tulsa police now say a man is dead after pointing a gun at an officer. Officers say a neighbor near 12th and Wheeling called about a naked man running down the street with a gun. When the officer asked the man to put that gun down, they say he pointed it at the officer. Officers tell us that's when the officer shot the man. Right now, police are working to notify the suspect's family. The officer is on paid leave tonight.
Now, the Oklahoma weather expert, Travis Meyer.
Well, on a Christmas note, it turned out to be a white Christmas for a lot of folks just north of us. Now, the last 24 hours, we did have that snow. It was probably as perfect a snow as you could have. I mentioned this at 5 o'clock, but it happened Friday night late, and most people weren't traveling. The only time it was a problem was Saturday morning for anybody who had to travel. There was quite a few accidents because of it there. But overall, it really was a great snow, and it was a beautiful snow if you got up early Saturday morning. That has melted pretty much, except in just a few locations. But you see half the country pretty much had a white Christmas. Santa was pretty happy because he was able to go a lot further than what we thought, because there's so much snow on the ground. Now, here's what we have to deal with next is bitter cold air, something we really haven't had to deal with for the last couple of years. And it's going to be a hurtful cold. And right now, tonight, we have wind chill advisories in effect for areas to the north. These are wind chills. Fortunately, it's not the actual temperature, but still, it's bone cold. I mean, just bone chilling cold. And tonight, across our area, it's not so bad. In fact, this is kind of like a heat wave before we start to get into the colder air, because we got a pretty good shot of cold air as we end the 2017, start the new year of 2018. Had to make sure I had my numbers right. Dew point's down 16, which means the air is very dry right now, and so that should allow temperatures to drop off. But so far, we're okay. We're in the low to mid 30s. I know when you say okay, but that's okay. Down to the south, 41, McAllister, 38 at Poto. These are temperatures that are right now. Now, by the time we look at tomorrow morning, temperatures will be in the teens and 20s to the north, with mid 20s to the south, maybe a few upper 20s south of I-40. So it's pretty seasonal. 28's a normal low. We're going to be a little colder than that. The wind chill's the biggest thing, and we're going to feel the effects of that over the next couple of days. So the wind chill will feel like single digits to 10 pretty much across most of the area tomorrow morning. So you better be bundled up if you have to be outside, if you're going to do some of that Christmas shopping or day after Christmas shopping, because it is kind of a big deal. Now, as far as the overall picture going forward, some of that bitter cold air is just to our north. And again, these are actual temperatures now. We're not looking at wind chills. That's Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon. These are single digits to the north. You say, well, that's Dick Farrow would say that's a good place for it. But unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with a couple of issues. One of those is some moisture trying to build in from out of the south. So if that hits up with a cold air, we're in trouble. Actual temperatures on Wednesday morning is 16. Now, this is extremely cold air for us. And as we look on into the afternoon hours, we'll be lucky to be above freezing. So it's a very cold Wednesday shaping up. And on top of that, we're also dealing with the issues of wind chills continuing, not only tomorrow morning, but Wednesday morning. We can go Thursday and Friday as well. But Wednesday, a little closer inspection. The clouds are coming up across the air with moisture, and we have that cold air in place. Notice how we're barely at or above freezing in areas south and generally below freezing in Tulsa to the north. This is cold. And then as we look on into the time period for late Wednesday night, Thursday morning, system moves through, and there's just a few chances of some light winter mix across areas from Tulsa south and east. So Thursday morning might be an issue where we're going to have to watch out. After that, as the little bit of a break, and we get a brief warm-up up to about 40 as we go through Thursday afternoon, and then we get ready for the weekend because there's a huge cold surge coming after this one. So this cold surge moves on through. As this cold surge moves on through, the next one coming down is bitter cold, not just cold, bitter cold. I mean, I'm going to have to start thinking about how I'm going to wrap up some pipes because it's going to be that cold. And we're talking temperatures right now. Okay, 28 by 9 o'clock. The wind chill, though, down to 20 to 24. Tomorrow morning, the wind chill in the teens or single digits. So that gets you a feeling for what it's kind of that hurting cold, not like the cold we've just been going through here for Christmas. As we extend the forecast out, these are highs. I mean, this has been kind of we've been, I don't want to say babied, but it's been a very easy go up until now. And notice how the temperatures are going to be bitter cold here. So this is Sunday and Monday. Look at Monday's highs in the teens for highs. We're going to talk more about that at 9 and 10. Meantime, back to Ashley.
All right, it is here to stay. Well, coming up, the Thunder getting set to play on the NBA's marquee day. We have a preview from the Peak as they get ready to host the Rockets.
Driven by your Oklahoma Ford dealers, this is News on 6 Sports with Harold Kuntz.
Festive spirit all over. OU head coach Lincoln Riley wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas. OSU head coach Mike Gundy, he and the Cowboys enjoying Christmas morning at Walt Disney World. Tulsa's athletic department took part in a multi-college Twitter chain reading of the night before Christmas. Bell topped the courses they flew. And OU's the Trae Young tweets playing on NBA basketball on Christmas Day. #dreams. TU's basketball team, well, they're back in action in a couple days, so they're home for Christmas. The meal for them, Buffalo Wild Wings and Panda Express. 7 players are within 4 hours of Tulsa. They'll have a gift exchange later in the week. More on team meeting family later tonight. And head coach Mike Boynton and the OSU Cowboys, who bought and handed out Christmas gifts to families in Stillwater. Boynton said kids look up to them, so it's a responsibility to give back. And Russell Westbrook posting his lovely picture on Instagram. This is his wife, Nina, and his little baby boy, Noah. After Noah got his gifts, Daddy has to work. The Thunder Guard and OKC host Houston tonight. Steve McGehee at the Peak. Merry Christmas, Steve.
I told my 10-year-old daughter that it's an honor in the NBA to play on this day. I could tell she wasn't buying it. But this is a great matchup, and Oklahoma City catches a break tonight. Chris Paul, the all-star guard for the Houston Rockets, will not play. Mike D'Antoni expects center Clint Capella to play. He's having a great season, averaging a double-double. James Harden leads the three-point charge, but Billy Donovan says his team can also score well inside.
The thing that doesn't really get talked a lot about is how efficient they are in the deep paint. You know, they get a lot of layups, a lot of rolls, a lot of easy baskets, and some of that's because of you get so spread out guarding the three-point line. That's what really makes them, I think, a very, very explosive offensive team. Is they're just not a team that's just three-point team. I mean, I think everybody thinks they're just a three-point shooting team. There's a lot more to what they do than just shoot threes.
Motivation is on Oklahoma City's side. They've won 4 straight. Houston comes in on a 2-game losing streak. Remember, last April, Houston knocked Oklahoma City out of the playoffs, winning in 5 games. On the scene, on the story from Chesapeake Energy Arena, Steve McGehee, News on 6 Sports.
Thanks, Steve. Rematch of last year's finals, Cavs and Warriors, KD and LeBron debating which Christmas carol is better, Silent Night or Jingle Bells. Fourth quarter we go, Kevin Love with a 3. Then LeBron James drives and finishes. Cavs tie the game at 92. Just over a minute 30 to play. It's Klay Thompson. Hits the 3 at the wing, 95-92 Warriors. LeBron would drive. Refs rule out of bounds on James after Kevin Durant deflects the ball. No call for foul. 99-92 Warriors, the final. Check out the AP poll for college basketball. Big 12 with 8 teams ranked or receiving votes. OU at 12th, OSU receiving votes. And as mentioned earlier, OSU players and coaches visiting Disney World. It's just a little better than practice and a new experience.
I'm really not the biggest amusement park type of guy, so I've been to a couple, but it's not something I just do all the time, so it could be an experience.
Mason was telling me something about a Tower of Doom, I want to say. So I've never been there, so it's new to me, but it sounds like something I'd like.
And now you can officially say it's bowl week for the Sooners. It's next Monday, Sooners in Georgia in the national semifinals.
All right, call it now. If Oklahoma wins, are they playing Clemson or Alabama?
No choice.
Oh,
neutral.
Neutral.
You really?
Neutral.
I think
not revealing my picks.
Okay.
Forecast.
Too early.
Hello, forecast. That's what you need to do.
Well, you can predict that.
I can do that.
You can predict that, yeah. Predict that all you want.
Cold weather is coming up at 9 and 10. We're going to talk about how cold, because it's getting cold.
All right, thanks for being here with us at 6 o'clock. Be sure to join us at 9 on the Tulsa CW and at 10 right here on Channel 6. Have a great Christmas.